That was a bit confusing on the soft mode. The pedals are a bit squishy, so I'm not getting the feeling of effort in forward lean. I just have to have enough forward lean. So this is probably a good recipe for over leaning the wheel. Let's try a little steeper one. Yeah, and not a sound from the wheel, and it just flew up. But bro, do you even fly down? Yeah, you fly down. You fly down and it breaks down. This one is the one I'm scared about though. Yeah. I've done it a couple of times on the MSX. So while I was riding here, I was thinking I really should do that on the 16X, but I'm afraid that it's gonna beep, or that 1.07 is gonna beep or something, because I haven't done any crazy hills yet on this. But yeah, you know, it lets you ride the wheel like it was a small, like my little baby 9-bot. So this was actually quite funny. Yeah, I don't even have to accelerate into it that much. So I just wanted to come here and get that off my chest, because otherwise I would be obsessing with fear holding me back, you know. Yeah, really nice and maneuverable. Bad choice. Bad choice there. I'm already making bad choices. Put this helmet on. I'm not gonna make any more. I feel my balance is just a tiny bit worse with this thing on my head. Yeah. So I'll go sit in the sun. I will sit in the sun. Eh. Oh, that looks steep. Shouldn't be much steeper than the other though. Ah, love that turning. Love that turning, man. Gotta love it. Yeah, I'm beginning to doubt my choices in life here. What have I done? What have I done? Just let me get out, man. Just let me get out. Let's turn it. Let's just go to the other side and have a seat and talk in the sun. Let's go find the forest. How about that? riding soft tilt back downhill. I have darkness spot set to 50 because I was riding the MSX for the past week. The faster it goes, man. You guys didn't hear what happened there. That was a 45km/h alarm, and stacked onto it the 4 beeps. So I hit the 4 beeps there. It's windy. I have this helmet. It's sort of like blowing in there. There wasn't really a perceptible soft tilt back. And why isn't there a perceptible soft tilt back? Because of the keyword perception. Am I being sensitive to soft tilt back when I'm throwing my body into the wheel in soft mode? No, I'm not. All I'm doing is having way too much fun. Way too much fun. Right? You can have fun and you can have way too much fun. When you have way too much fun, you start throwing yourself into the wheel. Now, would hard tilt back come into play and save me? Hard tilt back is a power consuming mechanism as well, and I'm at 88% power, so you know the world doesn't owe me anything. I do owe myself something. I mean, sure, great for my head and my face if I fall, but I'm down. So, for those who were wondering about the top speed of the 16X and so on, I hit 50km/h twice so far, and accidentally, because I wasn't looking for it, I just got there. But if you're riding the soft mode, it's doing a lot of the work for you. So don't be surprised if it takes you to 50, because it's taking you, you're not taking it. Times are tough, man. Times are tough. Yeah, look at this, man. Look at this. I got wood. See how this turns out then with the wind. Welcome to an episode of Duck Talks. I've been riding the MSX for the past week. Yesterday I was just chilling, and a guy, funny, it's funny, a guy passed by on a bicycle, an electric bicycle, and that guy was going fast, man. So, you know, I wanted to ask him what bicycle it was. So I kicked off and I rode and I'm like, hey, where is this guy? You know, I'm riding, and then I begin to see him, and then I start pushing the MSX a little, and I start beeping a bit at around 52, 53, and I start hitting some bumps, and you know, like the wheel is wobbling and stabilizing and so on, because you're hitting bumps at 50 kilometers an hour, and I'm like, hey, I'm really grateful for this MSX and the tire and the way it's handling this, because I'm going really fast now. You know, I'm really leaning forward. I'm really going fast on this thing, and I'm crouching and I'm beeping, and then I'm not beeping, so I stop beeping, and then I hit some bumps while riding and I beep, right, because they're getting a bit more power, and I'm riding I'm riding 10 meters behind this guy for like 4 kilometers, and my battery went from 85 to 50. It was like +5 or +6, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna finally get him at this red light. And at the red light, he just turns, you know, barely slows down and takes off. And I mean, that's too much for me. I'm not gonna do that. So I just stopped and I sucked it up, and then I just went for a little ride, and then everything felt slow. So I ended up riding on a beeping wheel for the rest of the way home. So I did a total of 20 kilometers, and I used half the battery after it stabilized. So the battery was at 55% when I was done with the 20 kilometer ride. That wind though. So I started thinking about the MSX Pro. And I was like, I wonder what would have happened if I had the MSX Pro. And I was like, if I had the MSX Pro, I would do 60 to catch a guy that was doing 48. Right? I'll put the graph here. So he wasn't really doing 50, you know, he was like doing between 45, 48, something like that. And if I would have had the MSX Pro, I would have just gone faster, but if I would have hit a bump there, you know, maybe not. And yeah, when you're speeding like that and you lose perception of speed and you hit a bump, and then the bump is going to make it a bit harder, because we are actually riding an electric unicycle, and sure, you can skill up as much as you want, but that is like the recipe for having an accident, is when you're pushing a high speed. I was riding a little bit faster than what I was comfortable with on that kind of terrain and on those paths, you know, so it's not a good thing, it's not a smart thing. And a lot of this comes from the MSX and the forward lean. So if they don't change the algorithm for the M Super X Pro when it comes to acceleration, and you're going to get wind resistance at 60 kilometers an hour, I mean, that's a lot of forward leaning, you know, or crouching or tucking or whatever, or just pressing, and that's not a... I don't think being on the balls of our feet is a favorable position, really. But now we have the opposite. I was riding the 16X today because all of this upgrade-itis is hitting me. So I was riding the 16X, and when I was riding, and it's on the learner mode, because, you know, I want Monica to be able to dance on the wheel a little. And I hit the 50 kilometer an hour speed alarm on darkness mode because I had it configured there for the MSX, because I should always be able to do 50 on the MSX, you know, beep or no beep. So I want to know what I'm doing 50. But on this, man, you know, it starts beeping at 45, and then all of a sudden I'm at 50. And then I'm playing around back there just before I got here, and I throw myself into the wheel. And I don't throw myself in the wheel to go faster necessarily. I throw myself into the wheel because I like the movement. I like the whole movement thing. But then my movement forward gets restricted. So now I put it on the hard mode anyway. So I hit 50 kilometers an hour like 2 or 3 times. But hitting 45, getting the speed alarm, getting soft tilt back, accidentally pressing on the soft tilt back because it's too late to hit me when I'm already in such a forward stance. And then I get the 4 beeps, and the 4 beeps isn't 80, the 4 beeps is 88, you know, so you don't have much left there. So it becomes very tricky. And now when I looked at the stats, and on my ride here, the whole ride that I was doing here, I was doing between 40 and 45. And I wasn't feeling it. And yesterday I was consciously pushing myself to go above 40 and actually more 50. And here it's like the opposite. So if we go back to the M Super X Pro and what they've said about the M Super X Pro, okay, it's an M Super X, it's 100 volts, and it's going to have a bit bigger magnet, it's going to have a bit stronger motor. They've been saying 2500 watts, now they're saying 2600 watts on the spec sheet. And then you have this 1800 watt hour. So if you have 1800 watt hours, and I killed the battery on my MSX yesterday doing 20 kilometers, 1800 watt hour, it isn't going to do much for us. And these LG batteries that they chose, which are the same that they put in the Nikola, if you look at the EcoDrift.ru teardown that they did, they looked at the batteries, they see that it's the LG 21700 batteries, and they are, you know, batteries have specifications, and the specification for the battery is 7.5 A continuous draw on a 24S4P configuration, which means that, you know, that's 30A continuous draw. I'm sure they could do 40, but a 24S6P configuration like the Nikola plus 100 volt 18650 with the 1845 watt hour, that's a 24S6P, and each of the parallel battery packs can do 10A continuous, which means you have 68. So now we're getting a faster wheel in the MSX with a lower possibility for continuous draw and 4 parallel packs, and a 2600 watt motor which will be able to pull more power, which it will never get to do, because I already know a wheel that does that. I do, actually. I rode it today. It was a blast, I have to tell you. I watched Rob Race. Damn, man, what a cool video you put up. Good job, man. So I was watching Rob Race and I was, damn, I really need a Z10. But I have the 16X with the CX tire, and if I want it to be more gyro, I just have to put more air in it, you know? So I was like throwing the wheel around side to side, and yeah, I could have had more air in it to get more side to side action. But it's just pure joy. It's pure fun to ride the 16X. It's just fun, you know? And then that's hard to measure because you're out riding and then the sun is shining and you're on the 16X and you have the CX tire. You have the CX tire, please. If you don't have the CX tire, get a CX tire. I know people do the opposite, but come on. Everybody's talking about the Z10 and the leaning and the this and that. You have the 16X with the CX tire, just put a CX tire on it. Put a CX tire on your Nikola. It's so stable at high speed, it's nuts. It wobbles, but it corrects itself. It won't fall, it won't tip. Yeah, so MSX Pro, you know, a few months away. I'm gonna hit 4,000 kilometers on the 16X today. It's still good as new. I'm gonna hit 8,000 kilometers on the MSX. It turned 1 year. It's blocked from the wind. It turned 1 year old last week. Kilometers. How much longer will I trust it? But I don't know. I guess if it breaks, it will maybe break gradually and not just break instantly while I'm riding at top speed. So here's my last mile for you. And then throw me off. But you never know. Never know, man. We'll have to see what happens. You know, with the MSX Pro. It's a few months away. The 16X has a 2200 watts motor so that it can pull power. It's a 20S6P configuration and it can't feed the motor enough. Simply, the motor is too hungry. So they speed limit the wheel, and then they speed limit the speed limit, and they throttle it. And they slow you down and they tilt you back and they do this and that. But that skate park though, that's the power isn't just going fast in a straight line. Power can be other things as well. Power can be punching up a hill. So when people ask me what wheel I would take as my daily wheel, I will take the wheel that can do everything. And the wheel that can do everything is the 16X. The MSX can't do everything because it won't take me up certain hills, and then I can't unlock those areas. Then I'm stuck. You know, I look at the hill. I just look at the hill, and I say to myself, who am I? Who am I anymore? Do you even hill, bro? Do you even hill? So let's see what happens with the motor. Let's see what happens with the battery. Gotway says also that there will be 2 more wheels. A 20-incher, so something between an MSX and a Monster, and then a smaller wheel. So we'll see about that. Right now, if I wanted a fast wheel, I would get the MSX 100 volt with the 18650 config, or I would investigate further with Lumo, or the ones that they have in New York, the 2200 watt hour MSX 100 volt, because with that cell configuration it's more likely a 24S6P, or at least more than a 24S4P. But then we would like to know what cells are in there. So if you're one of those guys listening, tell us what cells are in the 2200 watt hour. Gotway apparently had trouble with the Panasonic 21700, so they changed to the LG. Otherwise it's gonna have to be a Nikola from One Rod Werkstatt, so I get the 2600 watt hours, because there's no point in going faster if my range is gonna get destroyed. I like long rides, but nobody's forcing me to go fast. On the other hand, it just gives you the option of going fast. So yeah, that was a lot of babbling around. I think I'll overlay that onto the riding so that you guys don't die. It was sunny today, you know. I asked my wife, you want to go for a ride? She's like, no, I'm good. I said, okay, no problem. Then I'll go ride. I'll take the 16X. Everything went better than expected. And I told her, I said, I'd actually rather stay home and play Diablo 3. And she says, well, I am going to play Diablo 3. And then she's going to meet a friend for dinner. And then I wrote on the group, you know, hey, is anybody out riding? I'm going to go for a ride. One guy said, in my dreams. So I guess he's at work. I don't have a job, man. I'm just a bum on a wheel. Anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. There's a forum regarding the MSX Pro. There's a forum. There's a thread regarding the MSX Pro on the Electric Unicycle forum, where we are speculating unnecessarily, as always, because there's no point on speculating until the wheel comes out. There are wheels to buy now, right? Remember what happened to the Nikola last year. Remember what happened to the 16X. If you buy first batch, first batch, then you're the guinea pig, man. Suit up! Suit up. I got armor in this, man. And I took the helmet today because after riding the MSX and not riding the 16X for a while, I knew I'd make a mistake. Alright, I'm gonna enjoy what's left of this.